So today I was kind of thinking about this thing where um, sometimes it just seems so difficult to think of something as actually happening when it's so horrific. Um, and I'm talking about the files, really, but I just kind of want to go back and go through all the times I heard about this before um, we started hearing about um, that the Department of Justice actually had files. Um, I'm going to say the first time I heard about it was with Pizzagate because I was, I knew some people and they would say things to me about it, and I had no idea what they were talking about, but I kind of picked up the picture just from them describing the code words and everything. And that alone just sounded really weird and like, how could that be possibly happening? Um, that, you know, kids are just being trafficked like that by code words. And that was about the time when there were a lot of people going around saying that, oh, that's a conspiracy theory and that's not actually happening. And they're just freaked out by the Amber Alerts or whatever. So, you know, I was kind of leaning towards that conclusion that that wasn't real, right? And then the next time I heard about it, I had somebody telling me about how kids were being smuggled out of various countries and being transported in boxcars to be trafficked um, by rich people. And again, I was just listening to the story, like, you know, where are people getting this? Like, maybe it exists, um, but again, it just seems like more of that conspiracy theory, right? And then I had somebody else tell me, I made a list here, so I had somebody else tell me about how they're trafficking kids out of hospitals, right, as babies. And again, like I was like just thinking that's too far out there, like that can't be happening in our country. So again, I was in denial about it, and I'm like, I'm not listening to that, right? And then I had another person tell me, right, this is quite a few people just telling one person, okay? And this is just my experience. So then I had another person telling me that the police and judges and politicians and all these people in power were involved in this child trafficking ring and that they were covering up for them. And if any victims came forward, um, they were pretty much silencing them and harassing them and basically making their life hell um, if they managed to escape the trafficking. Um, and when I heard that, uh, I was starting to feel like maybe there's something going on. But again, um, my main feeling was like, why are all these people saying this? You know, like, what is going on? Like, you know, this is so strange. Like, and even at that time, like, Congress was talking about saving the children, and there was a whole Save the Children movement. And I was just like, you know, is everyone like, has everyone gone mad, right? And it wasn't until the Epstein files, um, you know, until we started hearing about, yeah, there are actually files, and we were seeing the whole thing with Jeffrey Epstein um, going to court, and um, you know, they were talking about that, which I do recall that happening. But at the time, that he was in jail, and you know um, it just, they didn't really express the extent of it, and I didn't have a good feeling about it, like the extent of it. So I wasn't making the connection. So the reason I'm talking about all this is because I'm just one person. And why would it be so hard to convince one person? Multiple people coming and telling me this, right? Mentioning it online, like I'm talking to them, or, some people in person talking about it. And several people were, saying they were actual victims of it. Why would it be so hard to convince people of it, um, until we're actually seeing that, the Department of Justice does have actual files, and all this stuff is real, okay? And I'm going to say it's because of this huge push, and coming mostly from a certain direction, right? This huge push to label any talk of child sex trafficking as conspiracy theory, right? It was really big, and it was like almost impossible for you to hear anything about it, um, and not hear like 3 or 4 mentions of it being conspiracy theory right after that, right? And why do you think there was that big push to label all of this as conspiracy theory? Why do you think it was so big that they had to really drill it into our minds that there's nothing to see here, right? Nothing's happening. It's all made up, right? It's in their minds. No victims. And I'm bringing this up because I'm still seeing evidence of that conditioning, right? Telling people, yeah, it's just, a bunch of kooks making something up, right? Still seeing evidence of that conditioning, to this day, despite the release of the Epstein files, still exists in our society. And some people still aren't seeing it.